Hi, this is Mr. Knowles, and I hope that this is the last video of Home Connection 58. You've been doing great following along to this point. So let's get started. Problem 10. After the librarian did her survey, she decided to buy some more books. She got 48 new fiction books for $16 each. How much did she have to pay in all? Okay, sounds like a multiplication problem. She got 48 books for $16 each. How much did she have to pay in all? The magic word is in all. It's multiplication. I'm going to do it both ways there's multiple ways, but do the traditional way and the lattice way real quick. So I set it up like this, and I multiply 8 times 6, 48. 4 times 6 is 24, plus the 4 is 28. And when I start that next row, don't forget to put a spacer there or a 0. It's really important because you need to start in the next place value, and I usually cross that out. 8 times 1 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. And now I just have to simply add. So I have 8. 8 and 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 7. And I believe we're talking about money. We are. All right. Another way to do this is the lattice way. I know a lot of you prefer this method, which is fine. So you have to think about what your lattice is going to look like to solve the problem. You have a 2-digit by a 2-digit number. And now we just have to set our lattice up and our numbers up, and we can go ahead and multiply. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 6, that is 48. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. This is 8. 8 plus 4 plus 4. Well, 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. Don't forget to carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. And your answer, again, is right here. So, $768. Challenge. All right, let's see if we can fit this challenge in the time that we have in the video. Mrs. Longchamp spent exactly $224 when she bought 28 more books for the library. She spent $96 on nonfiction books and $128 on fantasy books. The price of each nonfiction book was the same as the price of each fantasy book. How many of each did she buy? All right, show your work. Okay, how many of each did she buy? Well, we know she spent exactly $224 when she bought 28 more books. Tough question. How many of each did she buy? She spent 96 on nonfiction books and 128 on fantasy books. Well, I think I'm going to tackle this a certain way, and there's always more than one way to do this, but I think I'm going to take the 224 and divide it by 28, and that will tell me how much each book cost. So I'm just going to do a multiplication menu. I know that 28 times 10 is 280, And that's too much. That's too big. Let me cut that in half. 28 times 5 would be half of 280. That'd be 140. And I think I'm going to start with that. I'll put a 5 here. I'm going to put 140 here. Got to borrow. 12 minus 4 is is that, right? Okay. 84. 28 times 1, well that's 28. 28 times 2 would just be that doubled, so there'd be 8 and 8 is 16. Carry the 1, 56. I guess I'll use 2. 56. 14 minus 6 is 8. 7 minus 5. Hey, look at that, 28. So I just need one more. So I'm just going to put a kind of a 1 up here, I guess. 28 is 0. So all these together, I'm going to put a comma there so you don't think it's a 21, is 8. What does that 8 represent? $8. Each book is $8. Did I answer the question yet? I don't think I have. The price of each book was the same as the price of each fantasy book. Oh, nonfiction book. How many of each did she buy? Okay. Well, now that I know how much each book cost, what I can do is I can divide these by $8, and that will tell me how much each book cost. So, or not each book cost, that will tell me how many books I bought. So if I do 96 divided by $8, that will tell me how many books I had. So if I do a quick multiplication menu, okay, I know that's 80. So I'm going to put a 10 here. 80. 6 and 1. Oh, and 8 times 2 is 16. I know that much. So 12 books. And now I just have to take the 128 and divide that by $8. This one's a lot of work, huh? Well, I'll just put an 80 here. It seemed to work before. 10 times 8 is 80. So this is 8. 12 minus 8 is 4. Oh, and 8 goes into 48 6 times. How about that? So over there, maybe I'll do this for you guys. 16. I'm running out of room to write my answer. Maybe I'll write it down here. Okay, so what's the question again? How many of each did she buy? She bought 12. The 96 went with nonfiction. Nonfiction and 16. The 128 went with fantasy. Fantasy books. And there's a lot of work on there, so I'd really appreciate it if maybe you highlight it somehow so I can really see it. Wow, that was a problem. 12a. I think we have time to fit this in. If 6 is 5% of a number, what is 40% of that number? Okay. So, I would just build a table, honestly. I just do this. 5%, 6. 10% is 12. And I'm going to skip. 20% is 24. Double that. 40% is 48. The answer is 48. 48. There's a part B on your paper that says, what is the number? It got cut off. Sorry about that. So part B, down below, B actually says, what is the number? And that might be confusing, but they want you to find the original number. What they're asking you is, right now you know 40% of a number is 48. So what's the original number? What's the whole thing? It's, what is it 40% of what number? That's what they're asking you. You're really not far from the answer. Continue the process that you started in your table. So I'm going to go to actually 50%. What would 50% be? So think about the table you made. You want to add 6, you'd add another 10% to the 40%, right? To get 50%. Because 10% plus 40%, that's 50%. So what you would do is you'd add those numbers, right? So look at your table. You have a 12 and you have a 48. So if you add those numbers, you get 50%. Well, that's 60. Okay. Hopefully you understand what I'm doing. Alright, so 50% of a number is 60. Well, now you just have to double it to get 100%. So what would 100% be? You just have to double 60. It's 120. So your answer is 120. There are other ways to do this problem, but this is one way that I really like. So I hope that makes sense to you. And we're finally through Home Connection 58. I know it's been a journey for you with all these videos, but I really honestly believe that they can be helpful to you at home or outside of the classroom if you're looking for a little extra support. Take care and good luck on the test.